Lovely. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Licence and Acts panel meeting. The first order of business is to elect a chair. Please, can someone put forward a proposal?
I'd like to nominate Councillor Baxter.
Thank you. And a seconder?
Councillor Patrick Whaler. Second.
Lovely. And when I put this to the vote, all in favour, please raise your hands. Thank you. I'll hand over to you, Chair.
Thank you. Good morning and welcome to this meeting of the Licensing Acts panel. I'm Councillor Ron Baxter and I'm the chair of the panel. Councillors Patrick O'Leary and Val Shaw also join me today on the panel. A few statements to make before we proceed with the meeting. Please can everyone ensure that all mobile telephones and any other devices are switched to silent during the meeting. In the event of a fire, the Democratic Services Officer will lead attendees outside the building where they should remain until directed to return. If you have a question to ask in the meeting, you should raise your hand to alert me. Please do not speak unless invited. And please do not interrupt other speakers. For those joining you remotely, when you're not speaking, please ensure your microphone is muted and your camera is turned off. Do we have any questions at this stage? Do members of the panel have any declarations of interest? Procedure for this meeting was included in the agenda pack. Could I ask if everyone has understood the procedure that we followed? I will now begin this item and invite the licensing officer to present their report.
Thank you, Chair. So today we're here to discuss a temporary event notice which has been given by Mrs. Hind, and she is known as the premises user for temporary event notices. The event is due to take place on the evening of the 31st of October into the morning of the 1st of November, which is this Friday and Saturday. A temporary event notice is not a licence type that is applied for. As the name suggests, it is a notice given by a person to say that licensable activities will temporarily be taking place. Unlike the premises licence that you may be familiar, there is no public consultation. The procedure for a standard temporary event notice, such as the one that we're here to discuss, is that the premises user gives the notice. The licensing authority will review that notice to ensure that it's been made within the legal requirements. And if so, we will send an acknowledgement letter to the premises user. Thames Valley Police and the Council's Environmental Protection Team have a 3 working day period to review the notice as well, and they can decide whether or not they believe that the licensing objectives will be undermined by the activities that are proposed. If so, they can submit an objection notice, and that's what's triggered this panel today. In this case, the notice is given for the sale of alcohol, the provision of regulated entertainment, and the provision of late night refreshment between midday on the 31st and 3 AM on the 1st. The premises is a unit at the Radley Road Industrial Estate, which is bordered on 3 sides by other units on the estate and by residential gardens on the 4th side. During the 3-day working period, objection notices were received from Thames Valley Police and from Environmental Protection with concerns in relation to the promotion of the licensing objectives. You can read those objection notices on page 19 and 20 of your papers. The decision today is whether or not you consider it appropriate for the promotion of the licensing objectives to issue a counter notice, meaning that the activities mentioned in the notice, the temporary event notice, cannot go ahead. If you consider it appropriate to do so, a counter notice must be issued. If you do not consider it appropriate to do so, no counter notice will be issued and the activities can go ahead as stated in the temporary event notice. And those options are listed at section 5.2 of your papers on page 12. To assist you in making your decision, the report contains a number of points of guidance from the Council's policy and the Secretary of State's guidance, and that's from page 10 of your papers. That's a summary of the case, and I'll be glad to answer any queries you've got.
Thank you. Do any members of the panel have any questions for the licensing officer? No. As for sure. I don't think I've any questions at this stage. Mrs. Hine, do you have any questions for the licensing officer?
No, I haven't, of course.
Does any attending party have any questions for the licensing officer? If there are no further questions, can I now invite the applicant, Mrs. Hine, to present their case?
Okay, so I'm Sadia Hind. I've put in the temporary notice application for an event on Friday, which is Halloween. I recently moved to the unit, so the event is basically to let my customers know that obviously that's where I'm going to be trading from, and to obviously celebrate Halloween like probably most people who are interested in Halloween. As the licensing officer said, the temporary event notice requested for sale of alcohol because I've actually applied for a premises license. I was waiting for the licensing team to confirm if I had received my premises license. I did not receive the premises license, hence why I had to apply for the temporary event notice. Because if I hadn't got a premises license, I cannot sell alcohol and I cannot do any other licensable activity. So because I didn't receive the go ahead for the premises license, I had to put in the temporary event notice. So I requested sale of alcohol, regulated entertainment, which is music, and late night refreshment. The time that I requested to go ahead was from midday till 3 a.m. Regarding the licensing objectives, I think I have put preparations in place to follow license objectives. In terms of prevention and crime and disorder, there will be trained security at the door. There's 2 of them. There is also myself, which is the person in control of the activity and the person who's in charge of sale of alcohol. Also, the other trained people that I've trained to ensure that we follow the guidelines for prevention of crime and disorder. Also for public safety, the same guidelines along that. Prevention of public nuisance, as I said, there's trained security guards there. Everybody will be inside. In terms of a Halloween party, the unit is quite big. And I think I placed on my application that it's going to be about 50 people. So it's not a lot of people. It's just mainly customers, friends and family, and also people who know that I have moved to the unit. So in terms of public nuisance, I put preparations in place to obviously follow the guidelines to reduce it. Obviously, with public nuisance, I believe that as long as you've got preparations in place, you will try and control it as best as possible. In terms of the timings, I put that on there for 3 a.m., but I may not even get to 3 a.m. because it's going to be a long day. So the last time I had an event, I think we were finished at midnight, between midnight and 1 a.m. But I don't believe we will go till 3 a.m. But I requested that just in case to cover myself, in case I still have people in the unit who are like sitting and chatting and stuff like that. In case the police did decide to turn up, which I had in the previous case where they did turn up, before the event was finished, there was people still there, and I was still within the time limit, because if you have a license and the event is finished, and people have left, but people are still inside packing up, washing up, still drinking and doing other licensed activities, if it doesn't go to the time, if you go over that time, you might be penalized. So I just basically put that time just to cover myself in case anybody was supposed to turn up and I was still trading or having licensed activities going on, just to obviously make sure that I don't get penalized for that. So that's basically what the plan was for the temporary event notice.
Thank you. Do any panel members have any questions?
What sort of entertainment are you considering?
It's just music. It's no other entertainment. Just
Is that live music or
no live music at all. Just a box and music, basically.
and how will you monitor that? How will you keep it to reasonable levels?
So there is last time I had an event, I should have brought the music system that I plan to use this time, because last time I had an event, the neighbors said it was quite loud. So this time I decided I wasn't going to have the DJ that I had last time, which had a very big set. So I'm just going to have a sound system where I just play from my mobile phone. So that's what I plan to do this time. I'm not going to have any DJ or boombox, if you call it that, this time, because it was too loud. And when I was outside, I could hear the music that it was quite loud. So best to use something quite domestic. It's more domestic than industrial this time, if I'm getting it correct.
What experience, apart from the previous event, at these new premises for you that you had? We had one, but there was some complaints.
Oh, so I have another business that I run in Oxfordshire, in Littlemore, that I have premises license for. So I've had events there, but obviously because I have a premises license, I don't need to request a temporary event notice, and I haven't had any trouble there. I've been there since 2010, so I have events all the time. But I said this area that I've moved to now in Abingdon is quite new. So what the one in Oxford, I've been there from 2010, now it's 2025, so 15 years worth of experience with obviously the business, the council, the police, and I haven't had any issues that apart from noise, where we've obviously worked with when I done the application and agreed with the council what we would put in place to obviously reduce that and stick to the license objectives, which have worked. So basically, that's what I'm hoping to do with this premises license as well.
You've covered environmental health. There had been complaints about the noise.
Yes, correct. Which I did.
You've addressed that.
Yes, I have. Yes.
I don't know how many people, to be honest, but it's 3:00 in the morning.
Yes.
But just suggesting that the music will basically off before that. And
yes.
I understand about getting a wider time to take care of the other things.
Correct.
But and anything about, well, one of the objections of the place to do was transport. Get in there. You know, there's no public transport. There could be at the end of the event.
Yes.
And people leaving the premises. But there's no buses to leave, so you would have to walk, the taxi and what have you.
Correct. Yes.
And the previous time you had it, there wasn't a problem there.
No, the previous time there was no problem for transport. We actually organized a minibus, so one designated driver and the people went in the minibus. They would be all organized up for 20 people in the minibus. So that's what we done for transport. And other people basically live in Daisy Bank. most of my friends, they live in the surrounding areas. Because obviously, if you're drinking alcohol and enjoying yourself, it's best to also walk home, or obviously arrange a minibus or a taxi to actually get home. But the number 35, I think it runs up to midnight. So anybody's going back to Oxford, went back on the number. There's number 35, and also there's the X1, X3, and X2 as well. But obviously they'd have to walk into Abingdon to actually get this, because I think it passes on Oxford Road, but it doesn't pass on Radley Road. So that's what I've got in place for transport at the moment. The people who are coming, I put on the WhatsApp group of what is of me. So the minibus that you pay to get on to get home, or you can take the bus or take a taxi.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further question? That's fine. Let's ask you to also have any questions.
I've got a question. Just a couple. Yeah.
Yes.
With reference to the capacity, if you say 50, because that location actually said 80.
Oh, is it 80?
Yeah.
That's a 50 to 80? I can't remember. So it's 80.
80, yeah.
50 to 80.
Okay. And
80 being the maximum.
with regards to your other premises in Oxford, what time is the license?
The premises license is midnight,
Midnight. Yeah. That's fine, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
because midnight.
Thank you. I now invite the representative from each responsible authority to present their case. So, Mr. Waits, would you present your case?
Morning, Mr. Chairman, councillors. Yeah, the reason I brought this representation about this temporary event notice is when Thames Valley Police, or when an application or notice is submitted to Thames Valley Police, the first thing I do if it's a late night venue is I'll consult with the local policing team, normally the local police inspector and the local team sergeants. They both came back with concerns regards the late night finish at this premises and the fact that this premises is in the outskirts of the town in an industrial estate. Unfortunately, in Abingdon, or parts in Abingdon, there's not many late night venues. I think the latest shuts, which is a Wetherspoon, shuts at 1:30 in the morning, and it does have some issues. Before that, we had another premise called the Blue Boar, which was open until 3 o'clock in the morning, and that probably generated 80% of the trouble in the town. That premise is now closed, and the crime disorders vastly reduced. The team supervisor's concerns are 3 o'clock in the morning, and this is a Friday night Halloween, which is always going to be a busy night. It is also a payday weekend, which makes places a lot busier and higher levels of intoxication in our experience. The supervisor's concerns are that the officers are going to be very, very busy that night, and if there is any trouble in the industrial estates, at this premises, one, it could cut our premises to find, and two, due to the busy nights, resources will probably be quite restricted. We do have a nighttime economy team at work most weekends who are tasked with jobs, and they finish at 3 o'clock. So after 3 o'clock, if anything happens, it's totally going to rely on the emergency response teams who coming from Oxford or anywhere in the county, and trying to find this location could be quite difficult. I know it was when I visited the premises the first time we went down the wrong road. So that's the major concerns, are that people are drinking until 3 o'clock in the morning in an industrial estate. If they've been there from 12 and drinking until 3, I know you said you might only finish until the midnight, and that probably would have been good to know on that location. But the concerns are that people come out, they've been drinking all day, there is a high risk of crime disorder or public nuisance. And as
as I said in Mr. Fletcher's report, there was an instance, and the last time we gave them a 10, that the residents were complaining about noise. We just don't want that to happen again. And that's the reason why we've objected to the application, to the notice.
Thank you. Yes, my question is, apart from the noise, which I think we hopefully this time it might well have addressed, there were no other
No, there was
issues
not.
with previous
No, there was not.
events. Do we have any further questions? Councillor Shaw?
No,
Councillor O'Leary?
Thinking about complaints, come across different things that many hundreds of people attend, and you have one or two complaints, and you will always have one or two complaints. Is there a number of complaints?
You'd have to speak to the protection, environment protection. It's them that got the on this occasion.
But your own particular concerns and what have you, more or less were coming from the police report and the noise, obviously.
Yeah, you're talking about late night venues in general, or this? Yes,
Well, this one in particular.
this one.
Well, we appreciate that has come down. That
Yeah,
is
yeah.
ongoing. But all of this is because outweighing, as I said, the income economy as against a couple of complaints once a year, i.e. Halloween. That's what I was trying to get through. So, I mean, say for argument's sake, there was one or two complaints. Is that a real problem?
The noise issues really should be
Yes.
directed to the
Yeah.
environmental health officer rather than
Yeah.
the
Right.
police.
The last time I had a temporary events notice, which was the bank holiday weekend, I
It
believe.
was.
Yeah, there were no incidents reported to police.
Do you have any questions for the police officer?
Yes. You said your team, they finish at 3 o'clock.
Mhm.
So if there was any incident outside of that, there would be somebody else that covers that. Who might that be?
When the nighttime economy officers who finish at the back of the station doing their reports at 3 o'clock in the morning to go off duty, if any calls come out, it will be put out to the emergency response teams, basically the general policing officers who will attend that time in the morning. They're mainly all tucked up with arrests and stuff, so it does reduce. I know that's not the problem for this premises, the police resourcing, but it doesn't matter when an officer's got to run down from Bicester or Banbury or something because there's nobody else. And if there is something happening and you've got a 40-minute drive, and that's, I'm only relaying the inspectors and sergeants, concerns about late night venues. And just if there is concerns that it is in an industrial estate. When there's stuff happening in pubs in the town centres, you get loads of calls because loads of people see it. But if you're stuck in industrial estates and there's a big fight going on, who knows who's going to phone, even if it's going to be phoned in. And that's the officer's concerns.
I understand the concerns from the police. However, last time when I had the event, I had two ladies turn up there, the community, they were the community police officers that they came down because obviously they received the temporary event notice, so they came round to have a look at the location. They went inside, they had a look, they spoke to a few of the customers, and they said they had no complaints or anything. And then another unit turned up when we were finished, but after midnight or so, just to check again to see if everybody was gone, and they did not have any issues or anything like that.
That's good.
Which I was quite impressed with. Everybody just came, supported the event, had a few drinks, had something to eat, and basically left. When I promote these events, I everybody have an event to obviously socialize and enjoy themselves. So that's basically what, it's Friday night, Halloween, as you say. Lots of people will be celebrating, people will be trick-or-treating and stuff like that. There will be a lot going on that night. I totally agree. But as a restaurant owner and a license owner as well, I know obviously I have to put stuff in place to obviously reduce your job and obviously to make my life easy as well, to obviously make sure everybody is safe and enjoy themselves and go home. And the last thing I want to do is obviously put pressure on the police, put pressure on environmental health. They're phoning me, people are phoning them, and just having a whole lot of nuisance that night. So I put stuff in place to prevent that or reduce the risk of that happening, because I want to go home at a reasonable time as well. I want to enjoy my Friday night and obviously make sure that I can continue trading. And obviously when I do have my premises license issued, we can agree something that is reasonable. And from my past track record, everybody on the panel will say, okay, this person seems like they're responsible, they've had events, nothing happened. I believe that it can go ahead. So as I said, I've got no problem working with the police, environmental health, public safety, people of the public, to ensure that obviously nothing dramatic happens on the night. But
You have any questions?
No questions. No.
Do we have any environmental protection?
She's on the call.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi. Sorry, this is Carmen Martinez from Environmental Health. We have also objected to the temporary event notice, purely because we do have concerns about a potential noise nuisance arising from the regulated entertainment. I guess this is due to the times of the event, but also probably more importantly, the location of the premises really close to residential dwellings just behind the unit. And also the fact that the premise is located within an industrial unit, which does lack appropriate soundproofing, and it is unsuitable for amplified music. And we have received complaints during previous events, like both the applicant and the police have mentioned. Yeah.
Thanks. Do you have any questions for the environmental protections?
Yeah, how many complaints did you have about the last event?
We received 2 complaints in August about the last event.
Did you let Mrs. Hind know where the complaints had come from? I'm sure you wouldn't have told her specifically who it was, but in general.
Yeah. So we can't really disclose the address of the complainant, but I believe my colleague Amanda spoke with Mrs. Hind to let her know that we had received the complaint and what the complainants had mentioned was the main issue, and they did have a couple of discussions.
Do you know if Mrs. Hind made any attempt to liaise with local people to see what she could do to cut down the...
I'm not sure whether she spoke with the neighbours or the occupiers of neighbouring properties, but I know during her discussion with my colleague, she did say she was gonna take steps to try and ensure she wouldn't cause a further issue for the neighbours.
Thank you.
That's right.
Yeah, I was thinking of that one, and I started to ask it to you. On the wider area, the people who were affected by the noise, how many
Sorry?
people? Sorry, the 2 complaints came from the residential area.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm thinking how big the residential area is, how many people are there? How do they get a relation between 2 complaints and 200 people?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't be able to. I guess it just depends how wide of a radius you want to consider. But yeah, we only received two complaints. There is a number of properties surrounding the estate, so I'm not sure what the population is in the area.
Thank you.
Thanks. Councillor Shaw.
What was the nature of the complaint that you had?
Yeah, so both complainants raised issues about I believe there was a DJ at the event, and the amplified music they said was too loud and was being an issue for them, and they were being affected at their properties.
Right, okay.
I suppose the question for me is, presumably, at this event, if the noise is reduced, then that may cure the problem.
It could. I think there is no way for us to know at the moment whether that is going to be the case. And I guess the objection was due to trying to prevent a nuisance from happening and trying to prevent the neighbours from being affected again. The issue with the soundproofing remains. And so does the location. I guess the properties are very close to the premises.
Okay, thank you. Does the licence officer or any of the have any questions?
I don't have any questions for the officer. No.
Nothing from me, Mr. Flynn. Any further questions?
No questions, but regarding what Carmen said about the Amanda phoning me and the neighbours. Every time I'm having an event, I send letters around to the neighbours just to let them know that there will be an event. So they should there will be a bit of noise, and obviously giving them an invitation so they can attend as well. So I did do that, and Amanda did mention that obviously they did have the letter to say that I am having this event from obviously for the bank holiday weekend. So that's what I normally do. So regarding the amplified music and the soundproofing, I just moved into the premises. There is preparations in place to have soundproofing. Hence why after the last event we realized that the walls are not thick enough to obviously have amplified music. Hence why this time I'm just having a domestic via Wi-Fi box to play, because there isn't soundproofing. So if I did have amplified music, it would have the same kind of issue that we had last time. So hopefully this time with just something domestic, it shouldn't cause that amount of noise and affect the neighbours as much as it did last time.
Okay,
So
thank you.
you shouldn't get any complaints.
Do we have any further questions for the
Could I just clarify? And it's really helpful, the details about the sending letters to neighbours. So this specific event, you have actually taken them round to properties that back
Correct.
to you?
Yes.
Yes.
I can't remember what the name of the road is called, but yeah.
I
there's
don't know, it might have
30
appeared on here.
There's
but
about
yes.
30 houses around there that
And it's a sort of letter, a template.
yeah, a template letter just to say
You wouldn't have an example of that you I know you're using your phone, that it might be helpful for our members to sort of see as you distributed. And that's just been hand delivered, has it?
hand delivered. Yes, I went there myself,
Yeah.
just put them to that above.
I don't think it's a real problem if you can't find it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was basic wording, just letting them know
Yeah.
that obviously I moved into the unit and this is the event, these are the times, and obviously you're more than obviously welcome to
No, that's
attend.
that.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So no further questions at this stage. Oh no, we were in questioning the environmental protection of society. Yes. So I think that concludes the presentation stage of this panel. I will now move to the final submission stage and ask each party if they wish to summarise their views before we go into closed session to make a decision. So, Mr. Waite, would you like to make a conclusion?
Nothing further. Thank you.
Nothing further. Would the environmental protection officer like to make any further statement? Simon?
Sorry. Oh, sorry. My line isn't great at the moment.
Oh, right. Would you like to make a concluding statement?
Yeah, I guess I just wanted to repeat that our objection in environmental health was due to concerns about a potential noise nuisance for the occupiers of neighbouring properties due to amplified music and unsuitable soundproofing of the industrial unit and the times of the event.
Yeah, thank you. Ms. Allen, would you like to make a concluding statement?
Yes, please. I appreciate that we're having this meeting today to obviously address the objections and the concerns of obviously the licensing objectives. As I said, as a license holder myself, I do plan to follow the licensing objectives as best as we can. On the application, which the council has provided, I think I should have probably, as Ian said, stated that I might not go all the way till 3 o'clock. I know in the past in Oxford, when I had an event, the licensing team, they did phone and say, you can have sale of alcohol, the music you cannot have amplified music, and the time that you want to go, you cannot go that time. Obviously, are you prepared to go to a lesser time? We will then issue the temporary event notice, which obviously we agreed. Since I've moved into Abingdon, I mean, I haven't really had much contact with the licensing team in Abingdon. I've only done 2 applications, I believe, so far. So obviously this is a different procedure to obviously address the temporary event notice. I would like the event to go ahead. As I said, it's Halloween. I have put in place measures from what I've learned from last time with the amplified music. The building is not fit for that at the moment. I am refurbishing the property because I have put in a premises license that have obviously it to be like a lounge, restaurant and bar, to be turned to change the unit into that. So eventually, obviously, that will take time to obviously do, but eventually, it will have met the regulated standard that is required to host these events. But obviously, for now, I have to make use of what I have until I've brought the building up to that standard. So I said, I'd like the event to go ahead. I am prepared to obviously reduce the time. If I can go till 1 a.m., I would appreciate that. And obviously, I said, I'm not using any amplified music, so that would be eliminated. And obviously, we would have sale of alcohol. In terms of dispersing the crowd, as I said, there's security guards for that. And obviously, there's a minibus in place. Obviously, get people home safely. I believe that I'm a responsible person. As I said, I've been running my business for a very long time. I don't have a track record of any running with the police. I've been a normal citizen. So I have no problems with obviously following the law. The law is there for a reason, and obviously I'd like to keep it that way. So as I said, I appreciate your objections, and obviously I will address those as best as I can if the event is allowed to go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. The licensing officer would like to make it.
I think just to summarise your options, there doesn't appear to be in the legislation any provision for you to amend the temporary event notice. So you it's either yes or no effectively. And if you consider it appropriate to issue a counter notice, then you must do so. If you don't consider it appropriate, then you must not do so. It's quite a sort of binary decision that you've got to make.
Indeed, yes.
That's it.
Thank you for that. Please could I invite all relevant parties to state that they've had a fair opportunity to put their case to the panel.
Yes.
Good. We'll now make our decision, and this will be done privately with only members, the Democratic Services Officer and the Legal Officer present. If the panel intends to clarify at any point, they may call all the attendees back into the meeting. During this time, parties are asked to wait in the reception area, and they will be collected and brought to the room when the decision is ready to be delivered. If any attendee is unable, if any attendee is unable to be contacted, the panel will, after reasonable attempts have been made, read the decision out and send an email to any absent party with the decision. I don't think that's relevant to this situation. So at that stage, could you close the meeting temporarily while we wait in the reception area, while we make our decision?
You just want to send me a message when.
Hi, Susie. Could you stop the broadcast? Pause the broadcast, and we'll be back.
Right. Thank you everyone for returning. Following this discussion with my fellow panel members, I can confirm that the decision has been reached. Panel considered the options available and decided that it was not appropriate and proportionate to issue a counter notice. The Section 816 of Schedule 5 of the Licensing Act 2003, where a counter notice has not been given, the relevant person has the right to appeal the decision to the Magistrates' Court within 21 days. Note that no appeal may be brought later than 5 working days before the day on which the event period specified in the temporary event notice begins. Thank you.
Just to make that clear, that means the event can go ahead.
I know that's what it meant.
Unfortunately, the wording is such that it's not.
He could have said if there was a council event, then obviously
Yes.
it won't go ahead. But they said there's not.
Yeah, we didn't want you going away thinking. Yes.
Understood it. Thank you.
Before I formally close the meeting, are there any outstanding questions for myself or officer? Thank you. The meeting is now closed at 11:37.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Susie.